Hello, my beautiful people. It is I, it is her, it is she, it is Coach. Thank you again for coming to Coach TV. Today we are talking about you have been given an assignment, and you can, you will, and you must complete the assignment that you have been given. I know there are many times where we feel like life is moving, but it's not moving accordingly to our plan. It's not moving accordingly to the things that we think should happen. But the reality of it is, the gist of it is that things don't move or work in your favor until you do the work. You gotta put in the actionable steps. You gotta do what is necessary to get to that next level of growth in your life. Let me tell you about this funny little story, right? So, of course, I'm Coach Yolanda, and I have been doing entrepreneurship since 2014. I've been into health and wellness since 2014, but I become a vegan in 2020, okay? And I dibbled and dabbled in that, on and off, became vegetarian, came back to veganism, went to pescatarian, and then I came back to veganism because that's where I really thrive. That's where my body feels alive. That's where a lot of my energy comes from, just eating live foods that are great and beautiful and healthy, right? And it feeds my soul, it feeds my mind, it feeds my whole entire being. But before that journey started, right, I had originally said that I was going to impact lives. I was going to be the crumb of the crumb, and I was going to help so many women like myself who were stuck but needed to be rescued by themselves. And I had this great vision for what I wanted to achieve in this entrepreneurship, right? Entrepreneurship is a beautiful, beautiful thing, but it is work. And I had fell in love with the work, or the words of entrepreneurship. And I really didn't understand at the time in 2014, 2015, 2016, that it entailed a lot of more than just saying I'm an entrepreneur. And it entailed a lot more just saying, oh yeah, I get paid this much. It really entails work and mental work. And so I would talk a lot to my Heavenly Father, because without Him, I wouldn't be here today where I am today. And I would talk to Him in reference to wanting to be a vessel, and wanting to help, and wanting to nurture, and wanting to do more, and wanting to expand the message. And I just would talk to Him so much about it, right? And He was listening, and He gave me the most wonderful gift. The gift to impact, empower, and to assist, to strengthen, to give of myself, to help you be more in tune to the goals that you're setting, and to achieve the most abundant levels of your life, right? And so the assignment was given, and I prayed on the assignment. And like this video is today, you have been given an assignment. And so He gave me the assignment to do the work, to do and impact and show and give and fulfill the assignment. And you know, He also gave Jonah an assignment, right? And so with Jonah was in the Bible, and he was given the assignment to go deliver a message to those that were evil, manipulative, bad. I mean, they just were terrible on the earth. And their main focus was to make other people miserable. They were doing things that God didn't approve of. And they were doing it in a way where, as though they didn't care about anybody. They didn't care who it affected. They didn't care who it hurt. As long as they got what they wanted, they were happy, right? And so Jonah was given this assignment knowing that if he goes over to these types of people who have no care in the world, who could care less about what it is that he was talking about, that he was going to eventually probably get killed, hurt, murdered. I mean, they could have tortured him. They could have done a lot of things to him. And so the assignment was given. And because he was given the assignment, he saw what could become of him, and not about the goal or the message that God gave him to give to the people, and how it could affect their lives and how it could help them change to be better people. But he was focused more so on him and how he felt as though in his mind he wasn't capable of delivering the message. He wasn't in tune enough to deliver the message. He wasn't strong enough mentally to deliver the message, right? And so because he felt this in his mind, he ran the opposite direction. This man went all the way to the other side of the world. I mean, he was on a whole nother playing field. He refused to do the assignment, and he went over to the other side. And on the other side, he put other people's lives in danger because he didn't believe that God was with him. You following me? And so because he didn't believe, he didn't have not to believe or rely on his own understanding, but he should have had the strength to rely on what God was going to do. So if he gave you an assignment, you think he's not going to help you deliver the message? Do you think he's going to leave you out in the wilderness? You think he's going to leave you out there to get hurt, to get killed, to be destroyed? If he's giving you a particular assignment to complete? No, he's not going to do that. And so with Jonah, he didn't believe it and he didn't see it and he didn't understand it. And because he didn't believe it, he didn't see it and he didn't understand it, he went to the other side of the world. And because he was over there on the other side, he put other people's lives in danger. A big storm came. He was on a boat. They were going to be diminished. They were going to be demolished. They were going to, just poof into the sea and be gone forever. Because they had Jonah on the boat who was given an assignment and he refused to do the work, right? And so he was placed into the sea. They threw him off because he knew if you throw me over, your craziness that's going on right now, it's going to stop. The sea is going to calm itself. God ain't going to be mad because I'm out of y'all space. Throw me over and just throw me over. And we just going to take it from there. But in the midst of him being thrown over, he knew for a fact that if he was being thrown over, he could possibly die because you're in the middle of the ocean. I don't know about you, but for me, the ocean is not my friend, especially in the middle of the sea. Okay, let's talk about that. In the middle, okay? There ain't nothing else around. There is no land. There is these whales and sharks and all types of things that live down in there that you could possibly get hurt from. And so he said, throw me over there, and your peace will be come back to the calm. It'll come back to you and you'll be fine, right? And so they threw him over. And in the midst of him being thrown over, he had time to think. You know why he had time to think? Because God helped him to be still. He didn't destroy him because he could have. I mean, he's the Almighty. He could do what he wanted to do. He didn't even destroy that man. He allowed that man to sit in his own thoughts. And he allowed him to marinate on his own ways. And he allowed him to see that I am God, I am the Almighty. And if I give you an assignment, you best believe I'm going to be with you to help you maintain and to carry it out, right? And so brings me back to Umwa. As Jonah was sitting in there and he was in the midst, and he was sitting there and he was wallowing and he was praying furiously and he was praying consistently nonstop, and he was begging for his life because he was in the midst of a whole whale. He was in the belly of a whale, which could have by 9 times out of 10 destroyed him with all the asses. But from my understanding, they have a multitude of bellies. So he was in one part of the whale's belly. But whales they're not full sea animals, so they got to come back up. They're not full sea mammals, so they got to come back up and they got to breathe the oxygen from the top. And so because he was in there for 3 whole days, 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 whole days, he got to marinate, right? He got to pray and he got to understand what it was that Jehovah God had given him to do. And because he got to see that understanding and he got to understand what it was that God gave him to do, he knew that he had the assignment, and the assignment had to be given, right? And because he came out, He went to fulfill the assignment. He went to go over and do the work. Which brings me back to my point. It's that you've been given an assignment. I've been given an assignment. But the fear, the unknown, the I can't, it's not possible, it won't happen, no one's going to listen, I don't have the energy, I don't have the mentality, I don't have the team behind me, I don't have the people behind me, I don't have the words to speak, I don't know what to do, all that negative that comes in. Stop that. Stop that. Because that's just a figment of your negative thought process that you are allowing to take over what you really need to do, right? And because of that, I was placed in a position where I wanted and I needed and I craved to help the massive abundance of women like myself who were struggling with their mental health, who had anxiety, who was overweight, who was overwhelmed, who didn't understand life and why was it happening to me, who been through the brinks of divorce, who went through the hell and the high water of raising kids and being a single parent. All of that, right? So I wanted to help women that I knew who been through the storm, because I've been through the storm, and I wanted to help them. But in my mind, the thing that we have that controls every decision we make said, you're not good enough. You don't have the right words. No one's going to guess or grasp the message. You can't relate to them. Their situation is way worse than yours. You don't have what it takes. So you might as well take your butt to work and be under someone else's conditions and stay there and do that, because you are meant to be mediocre. That's what my brain had told me. That's what it kept telling me every day. And for years I believed it. And for years I worked in corporate America, for years doing the job that I liked. But the passion that I had was still brewing inside of me was to help, was to make an impact, was to empower, to strengthen, to help, and to build up, rebuild, reshape someone else's life, right? And so because I was sitting there, as Jonah was sitting in the belly of that whale, marinating on why am I here? Why am I here being told when I can eat and when I can't? Why am I here being told when I can go to lunch and when I can't? Why am I here when I'm being told when I can go use the restroom and I can't? Why am I here when I'm told I have to come in at 8 and I got to leave by 5? When I'm here and my son is sick and I can't go home? Why am I here, right? These are the things that be in my mind. I'm wasting valuable time sitting at someone else's office for 8 hours doing someone else's job that has no impact on my life, on my mental health, or for me to help someone else get out of their struggle. Why am I here, right? And so God will put you, he will place you, and he will sit you still. And when he sits you still, his purpose is for you to think about what it is that you were assigned to do. His purpose is for you to think about what it is that you should have been doing, what he instructed you to do, but you did not do it. You refused to do it because why? The negative portion of your subconscious mind, the part that tries to control your frontal lobe mind, has you in a chokehold of you're not good enough. It's not going to work for you. You ain't better than nobody else. No one's going to listen to you. You don't have the strength or the stamina to be something better than what you are right now. You got to stay mediocre because that's what I said and that's what you're going to do. And we believe this part of our brain because Jonah believed he wasn't good enough. He wasn't good enough to deliver that message in his mind. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to tell these people they're going to die in a certain amount of days if they don't get their life together. And they're going to jack me up and take me out. And instead of Jonah relying on his own understanding. He shouldn't have been doing that. He should have been relying on God, because if God gave you an assignment, do you not think he's going to help you fulfill it? If he gave it to you, he didn't give it to your neighbor down the street. He didn't give it to your husband in the house. He didn't give it to your boyfriend around the corner. He didn't give it to your grandsons. He didn't give it to your granddaughters. He didn't give it to your mother, to your father, to your sisters, to your uncles, to your brothers. He gave it to you. He gave it to you for purpose. And the purpose is you have been given an assignment. Now, for me, I have been given an assignment, and the assignment is to empower, rebuild, uplift, and help women stop the self-sabotage that we condition our minds to believe that we aren't worthy or good enough to achieving successful levels in our life that we can only imagine. That you ain't even supposed to be there because that room wasn't fit for you. But baby girl, it is fit for you. You are supposed to be in that room. You're supposed to be amongst the leaders. You're supposed to be amongst the ones that's making a change. You're supposed to be amongst the ones that's doing the thing. You're supposed to be amongst the ones that's making a difference in the world. It is your duty. It is your God-given rights, because God gave you the assignment. Whatever it is you are trying to accomplish and achieve in your life, he gave you the assignment. Whatever it is that you want to do in your life, he gave you the assignment. You need to fulfill the assignment, whatever that looks like. If you want to prepare, your levels of peace, your assignment is to prepare your levels of peace, which means get rid of the negative people in your life. I know it may be hard. I know sometimes it may even be detrimental to your own well-being. But to get rid of those that mean you no good, to get rid of those that are not pouring into you every single day, to get rid of those that's giving you anxiety, to get rid of those that's giving you a headache, to get rid of those that's making your back hurt, to get rid of those that's just taking and taking and taking and taking from you, it gives you more peace. Because that's what your goal is. That's what you're working on. So in order to work on that, you got to get rid of the noise that's in your space. So you've been given an assignment. What that assignment is, only you and God knows what that assignment is. Only you and the Heavenly Father know what he gave you to do. And in order for you to do it, you got to do the work. You got to do the mental work. That means you got to work on you every single day. You got to pour into you every single day. You have to be intentional with your words that you're speaking. You got to be intentional with your thoughts. And sometimes the thoughts will take over because we are wired conditionally, like my husband always say, to be negative. You are wired to be negative. So you got to rewire the negative to go into a positive, right? And it wasn't until Jonah was spit up on that land and he understood what the assignment was. And he knew without a shadow of a doubt he had to go fulfill it. He knew without a shadow of a doubt he went over there. Was he scared? Absolutely. Was he in the unknown? Absolutely. Was he walking on charted waters? Absolutely. But he also knew in his heart that God, my Father, my Heavenly Father, he ain't gonna leave me. He ain't gonna leave me out here. He gonna help me through. He ain't gonna leave me out here to be dismantled and despaired and be all choked up and joked up and being all in volatile situations. He gonna help me. And when Jonah went over there, what happened? Jonah went over there. He was very low tone with it. In such and such amount of days, if you don't get your ways right, you're going to die. It's good. Nivea's going to be destroyed. It's going to be destroyed. That's what he said. It's going to be destroyed. Did he think about what they going to say? Because they looked at him. Oh, they going to look. What? Who you talking to? Who going to be destroyed? But he still did it because he already knew God said to do it. That was the assignment. That was the assignment. And so I tell you this because you have been given an assignment. You can, you will, you must do the assignment. Whatever that looks like, your peace, whatever that looks like, you want to level up in your life, you want to scale up at your job, you want to go into a different position, you want to raise, whatever that looks like, you got to pour into you so you can go for what you deserve. You got to pour into you so you can go for what you need. You got to pour into you so that you can fulfill what you have expectations for yourself. And if you're not doing that, the assignment is being wasted, and God gonna make you sit still, honey. And when he sits you still, You ain't going to do nothing but marinate and meditate on the assignment. So I say this to tell you is that every single ounce of energy that you have, every single ounce of thought processing that you do, every single ounce of action that you take must be aligned with what you are trying to purposely and intentionally fulfill. What that looks like is something for you to decide. But what I know is if you do the work every single day, that means you got to come up with a routine in your life that's going to work for you. You got to start pouring into yourself every single day that's going to work for you. You got to start reading the books, do Audible. You got to start pouring into your personal being to develop who you want to become. And when you do the work, when you show up for yourself, things start to shift in a way where you never thought possible. And God starts to align people and places in your space and in your pathway that open up doors that He assigned them to give to you. If you take nothing else away from this today, take away the fact that you are capable of achieving the most amazing, phenomenal aspects of your life, but only if you take the actionable steps on purpose and with intentions. This is Coach TV. I thank you so much for joining me. If you found value in this, definitely do like, share, subscribe. Give it to those who you know need this word of encouragement. Rewind it, take some notes, write it down, go back, re-look at it, because there are gems and nuggets in the message. The message will always be you have an assignment, and it's for your life, it's for yourself. It's not to be mediocre. It's not to just sit still and do nothing. You have abundance and greatness inside of you, as Al Les Brown says. And in order for you to achieve those things, in order for you to get where you got to be at, you got to stop the self-sabotage in your brain, and you got to start working on being better than you ever been before in your whole entire existence, because you are greater than you ever will be. You are better than you ever will be. And let no one and nothing try to convince you otherwise, because guess what, boo? They're lying. They know you got it in you, and they don't want to see you survive or be better than them because they are afraid to take a chance on themselves. By all means, do what is right and for you at all times, and take the knowledge and don't hold it. Help someone else, because when you give free, you get free. When you give of yourself, God always take care of His that's doing right by those and others. This is Coach TV. Again, I thank you. I love you. Thank you so much for coming to the channel. If you like this, please do let me know what you think. Definitely comment below. And I will leave a couple of books down below that I do and I love, and I read them, and they are great for me. And it helped me with my personal development. It helped me get my brain cells together, and it helped me be on this journey for 9 years in reference to being better than I've ever been before in my life. And I think that this is the year that I'm really scaling up my business, and I'm doing what I have to do because I'm pouring into me every single day, purposely and with intentions. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.